Call this meeting to order. Join me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you all for coming to the Tuesday, November 12th City Council meeting of Sidney, Nebraska, the greatest city in the world. We are going to conduct this meeting with the Open Meetings Act there posted on the wall. And we are going to start with the approval of the October 22nd council meeting minutes. Does anybody feel like making that motion? Motion by Stroman.
I'll second.
Second by Bondegaard. Roll call, please.
Stroman,
Yes.
Buckner,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Vondergaard.
Yes.
Those meeting minutes approved 5-0. Now we'll take some time out for comments from the public. If anybody in the public wants to come up and make some comments at the podium there, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you love about Sidney. Anything? All right. Next, the public hearing for Resolution 202-4101, Class 1 liquor license for Take Shelter. And we will have the meeting in at 5:31. And there might be a Fletcher Prim around here somewhere.
I believe there is.
Fantastic. Please approach and tell us all about your business and what you want to do there.
Something written, if that's all right.
You whatever it takes. You can even play a recording if
Am
you
I
like.
on, or do I need to?
It should be.
I'm good. Okay.
We have a good team of IT technology professionals here to make sure every word you say will be heard.
Hello, council. Thank you for your time and consideration. I'm here today to seek approval for a liquor license for my new venture. Take Shelter will be a bookstore bar. I also hope to host open mic nights. There are local writers to have them do their readings of their books, and just kind of a place for creativity to come together. After 10 years of experience working as a bartender, server, and manager in Sidney, I'm ready to create a space of my own. Take Shelter will offer something unique, a place where people can gather, connect, and celebrate creativity. Growing up in Sidney, I fondly remember concerts at the Shelter House, thus the name Take Shelter comes from. I was also lucky enough to be part of the Sidney Open Mic Night a good few years ago, and we stayed afloat for a good few years as well. Doing that, I got to meet a lot of different people that I didn't know lived in Sidney. And when we were asking why we'd never met them before, it was because they didn't have a place to go to. So I hope to open a place that has a vibrant, creative community feeling to it, to offer those people a place to go. I think this is also important while we move into becoming a creative district, to have a place of gathering for adults that is welcoming to that idea. I think that's all I have for you guys.
All right. Well, I can tell by a gasp from one of our audience members that this is going to be a popular place.
I like to think so.
Well, that's awesome. And I know it's here in the bottom, but where's this at again?
We're going to be at 920 10th Avenue. That's right behind the Tropical Nails.
Okay.
Wendell Gaston
Wendell's
owns the
building.
building.
Yeah.
Ah,
So
no better
be right
building.
downtown.
Owner.
Yeah, we're Take Back.
Fitness.
Fitness used to be,
Okay. Very nice.
Very nice. And what kind of beverages you plan on serving there?
I'm going to be doing beers, cocktails, wine, your basic. I believe it's the Class I liquor license that I'm going for, which is all that on premises. I'm not going to be doing anything off of premises, just your average drinks. Not going to have any food or anything like that. Like I said, I'm trying to kind of avoid being a family establishment. There's already a lot of restaurant bars in town, and there's only one bar in town. And I believe that's a very specific bar, and I like to be a more open bar, if I may.
Very, very descriptive. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah. Hate to offend, yeah.
That is awesome. Well,
What's that? Thank you. Yes, that is You know, the only way I think to keep a bookstore afloat these days, we found a coffee shop and a bookstore doesn't work. So alcohol and writing tends to go hand in hand a lot of times. So maybe this will help it stay afloat a little bit, and also get people that wouldn't normally be reading to start reading. So
Yes.
that could also be very beneficial to the community, I believe.
Yes, because there will be no liquor licenses at the library anytime soon, I'd
I
assume.
know.
We just want to make sure the city isn't inching in on you.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. I don't want to step on your toes, right?
That's awesome. Well, any other questions for Fletcher?
No.
I think you've made several of us very happy.
All right.
All right, well,
Any-
any questions from the public?
Here we go.
You can come up and say something too if you want.
No, I'm silent. I'm supportive.
Well, that's good. At least you came with him. I appreciate that. Anybody else? Amanda, you want to say something nice?
No, just that I fully support getting more people to read.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Well, if there are no more questions from the public or anybody else in this room, we will call the public hearing to a close at 5:36. Then, we'll ask if there is a motion for Resolution 202-4101.
I'll move.
Motion by Bondegaard, second by Radcliffe. Roll call, please.
Buckner.
Yes.
Sherman.
Yes.
Radcliffe.
Yes.
Bondegaard.
Yes.
And Stroman.
Perfect. Passes 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you guys
believe I
very
forgot
much.
to ask, when do you plan on opening?
Hoping for, was it December? Nope. What was it? November 29th. That's
Day
right.
after Thanksgiving, we'll need
What we're
some
hoping
drinks.
for.
That'll
Yeah.
be perfect.
Everything goes right. That's what we're hoping for.
All right. Well, best of luck to you.
Thank you guys.
If you need anything, just call David. All right. We have another public hearing for ordinance 1867. And we will bring this public hearing into session at 5:37.
Good evening, council. My name is Marshall, Chief Building Official for the City of Sydney. I'm up here to speak about the rezoning of property 1234 Toledo from an R1 to an R2, so single family to a multifamily. The rezoning of this property is appropriate as there's adjacent R2s in this area. And it's at Toledo and 13th, just adjacent to the north of South Elementary. Jessica McKay owns the property, and her goal is to build a single duplex. So one single place, but two dwellings, if you will. Planning and Zoning Commission approved to move forward to the City Council for your final approval. There were some questions in the meeting with Planning and Zoning with regard to potential congestion. We've taken the address from Toledo Street to Spruce Street, so the driveways will be on Spruce Street as opposed to Toledo. So I think that'll alleviate some of the potential congestion. Well, no congestion, it is congested over there, but it will help that. So in the end, my recommendation is to approve this rezoning from R1 to R2.
And so the driveways will be on Spruce then?
Correct. So yeah, they'll enter and exit through. Correct.
It did go to the Planning and Zoning Commission, right? Is that-
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice. And when are they planning on starting right away?
She is still getting bids from people, so I don't have an actual start date. So I don't know.
Building another house for two families to live in.
Which we need. Yes.
Any other questions about that?
No.
Anybody from the public? Any comments? Want to say anything? Help build a house?
Sale or for rent?
I believe they're going to be rentals,
Just curious.
at least at this time.
Yeah, good.
Let's see, we need houses.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to build a house. Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
All right, well, no more comments from anybody in here. Going once, twice. Meeting closed. Public hearing closed at 5:40. And do we have a motion?
Do you want to read the ordinance? It's 1867.
Just looking at my notes. Everything's fine. The motion to pass ordinance 1867.
Second.
No.
Hmm?
No, he,
A motion to designate.
There we go.
Thank you.
It's like,
It's the word-
wait a minute, we just went way too
It's
fast.
the word I was looking for when everybody got impatient with me. Designate. Motion to designate. We'll start all over. Mr. Buckner makes a motion to designate 1867, and a second by Radcliffe. Roll call, please.
Sherman,
Yes.
Radcliffe, Bondegaard,
Yes.
Stroman,
yes.
Buckner.
Perfect. Motion to designate passes 5-0. Do we have a motion for the clerk to read the title?
You don't need a motion, you just need to have her read, please.
Hey, would you like to read
I will.
the title, please, Kelly?
An ordinance providing for the rezoning of a parcel of land legally described as the west 123 feet of Block 18, Clarkson Second Edition, Sidney, Cheyenne County, Nebraska, more commonly known as 1234 Toledo Street, Sidney, Nebraska, from R1 residential single dwelling to R2 residential multiple dwelling, amending the Sidney zoning code and zoning map of the city of Sidney, Nebraska, adopted by ordinance number 1049 of the city of Sidney, Nebraska, which is now codified as Title VI of Part 12 of the codified ordinances of the city of Sidney, Nebraska, to so provide and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in direct conflict herewith.
And that was read fantastically. Thank you, clerk. Do we now have a motion to waive the 3 readings for ordinance 1867? Motion by Stroman,
I'll second.
second by Bondegaard. Roll call, please.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Bondegaard,
Yes.
Stroman,
Yes.
Buckner,
Yes.
Sherman.
Yes. All right. Motion to waive the 3 readings passes 5-0. Do we have a motion to pass ordinance 1867?
I'll move.
Motion by Bondegaard, second by Buckner. Roll call, please.
Bondegaard,
Yes.
Stroman,
Yes.
Buckner,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Radcliffe.
Motion passes 5-0. Clerk, would you please read the number?
Ordinance number 1867.
Very nicely done as well. Do we have a motion to publish ordinance 1867?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Radcliffe, second by Stroman. Roll call, please.
Stroman,
Yes.
Buckner,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Bondegaard.
Yes.
Perfect. Motion passes 5-0. We are getting ready to build some property. And just so everybody knows, this is all written right here for me to read and do appropriately, but I always try and do it by myself and it works out poorly. But we did get through it, and I thank you very much for all your patience. But now we need to skip number 7. We are not doing number 7, do we?
Number
Huh?
6.
It's a little bit
Number
late.
6.
Hey, I'd just
Again,
like to say,
it says 6 right there.
I'd just like to say, we're not 15 minutes into this meeting. We have a new business and we've got new homes. How fantastic is that?
Yeah.
Sidney, Nebraska.
13 minutes in,
13 minutes,
2 new houses and a fantastic new business.
right? I think that should be applauded.
All right, I say we do. That was awesome. All right, so now we are going to number 7. The Nebraska Community Foundation Economic Development Donation Grant Agreement.
Yeah,
Mr. Scott.
good news, huh? I did want to, instead of just talking about that, I wanted to give a really brief history of LB 840. I know a lot of people hear that word. What does it mean? How does it work? What does it stand for? And why is the Nebraska Community Foundation Sidney Donor Advised Fund wanting to donate money to it? So first of all, just for a little bit of a brief history, and I'll be as quick as I can. In June of 1991, the state legislature saw the need for cities to be able to incentivize businesses to either recruit them to come there or to expand into new markets in their current cities. Before that, there was really no way for cities to do that because they weren't allowed to use property tax or sales tax money to take those actions. So in 1991, the unicameral passed that, and what they passed was called Local Option Municipal Economic Development Act, or better known, LB 840, which literally just means Legislative Bill 840. What that did was allow cities to use a portion of their local option sales tax, or to set it aside for economic development purposes. Along with the state guidelines that determine a good share of what a city must include in their LB 840 plan, it's also mandated that it be approved by the voters of the city. So in 1997, it made its first debut on the Sydney's election ballot and was passed overwhelming by the city of Sydney population. And then again, it was reaffirmed in 2007 and in 2017. And everybody knows the story when Bass Pro bought out Cabela's and started consolidating staff, or at least attempting to consolidate staff in Springfield, Missouri in 2016 and 17. We were approached by the Nebraska Community Foundation Sydney Donor Advised Fund that they wanted to help. They wanted to do everything they could to help the city keep people here and create jobs so that they would stay, because many of them didn't want to leave, didn't want to go to Springfield, Missouri. So they approached the city, but at that time, unfortunately, the way the city's LB 840 plan was written, there was no way for us to be able to take a donation or a grant and absorb it into our LB 840 fund. It was simply just not in our plan as a way to receive money other than the set-aside local option sales tax. So at that time, we took the LB 840 plan back to the voters, even though it had already been approved in 17. We took it back to the voters in 2018 to say, would the residents of Sydney agree that we're able to take donations, and that also passed overwhelmingly. I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to say, yes, we want to accept their offer of help, and they did. So that point, that's when we're able to start accepting donations and grants. In 2019, then, our first agreement was signed with the Nebraska Community Foundation Sydney Donor Advised Fund. And it was to run from 2019 to 2023, and a total of up to $1.2 million, with not more than $300,000 to be requested to be reimbursed in any specific fiscal year. That was the agreement we signed with the Nebraska Community Foundation. And at that time, that agreement was very specifically targeted at job creation, because that's what they really wanted to focus on. After seeing the benefits of that over that 4 or 5 year span, the Community Foundation is now, that's why it's on your agenda tonight, they're wanting to approach us and say, wow, this really worked out good, and we want to do this again and start a new agreement and give more money to this type of process and what the LB 840 does and how they help businesses. And just to give a few, and the list is very long, and it would take forever to go through them all, but there are so many that I know of in my time here, like GL Hewitt, which is now just called Hewitt, started with just 2 or 3 or 4 employees in a small rental space, and now they've invested, $100,000 in a downtown brick and mortar, and I believe they have anywhere between 15 and 20 employees last time I was there. Also, there's the list goes on. Next Gen, Worldwide Trophy Adventure, IB Outdoors, all started. Some of them started up at WNCC, Western Nebraska Community College, in their I&E Center, just trying to figure out how to write a business plan, what they wanted to do. And again, they came and asked the Economic Development Advisory Committee for assistance. And now all 3 of those have brick and mortar facilities, 2 of them in our downtown and 1 out by the link. So, and the list goes on and on and on. Like I said, there's there was Luke Gen, Agriplastics, Freedom Yurt. All these companies were able to do what they did because of what the LB 840 plan was able to help them do. And so that's when we gave that report to the Community Foundation, because they wanted a kind of a 4 or 5 year end report saying what all it did. And they said, wow, this is incredible. We want to do this again. And so they're approaching us now again with the opportunity to sign another agreement to go from 2024 to 2028 for another 1.2 million. Also very focused on job creation with not more than 300,000 to be spent in any fiscal year during that agreement period. We're very grateful for this. I know that I am, and I know the Economic Development Citizens Advisory Committee is. And I do want to go over a little bit, speaking of them, on how our LB 840 plan is governed, because I believe there's some misconceptions out there on how it works and how that money flows through there. As I said, it's a portion of our local option sales tax. It's divided into 3 buckets. One small bucket of the money goes to our Historic Preservation Board. We have a certified state Historic Preservation Board that assists only in the downtown and extended downtown areas for things like facade enhancements to buildings, signage, rental assist to help businesses get started. That's what one portion of it goes to. Another portion of it, another small portion, is dedicated to the north side of city, everything on the north side of the UP Railroad tax. Currently, we don't have a committee in place for that, but the new Economic Development Director is absolutely swore that she will get this board back up and running again and is working very hard to try to get that done. We used to have a committee over there, but we don't anymore. So we're trying to get that revived. The main portion of it, though, goes into the city's Economic Development Fund, which we just call simply the LB 840 Fund. That's governed by a body called the Economic Development Citizens Advisory Committee. When the state passed that legislation in 1991, they made certain stipulations of what a qualifying business is, and they also made stipulations that every community that wants to do this has to have an Economic Development Advisory Committee, which we do have. Ours is allowed to have up to 9 people. Right now we have 8 members. These are all very dedicated, smart people in our community. They are engineers, bankers, successful business people. The way the process works is anyone who comes to either myself or the Economic Development Director and says, hey, here's what we want to do, here's the business we want to start, or here's how we want to expand into a new market or a new service within our current business. Is there anything the city can do for us? We make sure that what their business fits under a qualifying business in the LB 840 plan, and if it is, we give them that application. The application is a 2-page application, so it's very short, but it does require a lot of documentation, tax returns, very complete business plans, profit and loss statements. It requires a lot of financial information. And then that goes to the Economic Development Citizens Advisory Committee. They sift through all that information, and that group decides whether they think this is a viable thing that they want to assist either with a forgivable loan or a loan. Either way, we have both options now, assist that business in getting started or expanding. Once they've decided that, yes, they think that is a qualifying business and they like everything they give, they think this business will be successful, much like the ones I mentioned earlier, they will approve some sort of an agreement with that business. Of course, that agreement, the final say-so is the City Council. The advisory committee, they call them an Economic Development Citizens Advisory Committee because that's what they do. They advise the council. They spend all that time sifting through all that documentation so that they can give you an educated recommendation of whether you should move forward. And then ultimately the City Council votes either yes or no, whether they want to move forward with that application, much like we saw recently with the community center. Of course, that was also job creation and will be reimbursed. I think we might have mentioned it at that meeting, will be also reimbursed by the Nebraska Community Foundation Sydney Donor Advised Fund. But I just wanted to go over a little bit of the history and how it works and how it's governed, because I think there's just people don't know. I mean, what does LB 840 stand for? What is it? What does it do? You know, how does it work? So I wanted to go through that. And now what we have before us on the agenda tonight actually is the agreement with the Nebraska Community Foundation Sydney Donor Advised Fund for the council to accept, if you will, over the next 4 or 5 years, up to another $1.2 million with not more than $300,000 to be expended in any specific fiscal year. Any questions about that? I know that's a lot. I just said a lot. So. It is, they're giving us money, so.
So we have to decide if we want to keep the $1.2 million.
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, anybody want to make any discussions before they make a motion to go ahead and accept this agreement? Motion by Mr. Stroman
I'll second.
and second by Bondegaard. Roll call, please.
Buckner,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Bondegaard,
Yes.
Stroman.
Yes.
Motion
You
passes.
waited 4 more minutes, it would have been 2 houses, $1.2 million, and
It just keeps getting better.
What else is on
So yeah, let's see.
there?
All
Yeah, now we gotta
Tom's gonna come up here and tell us how much money he's gonna give us.
I think this is where we go the other way.
What?
Yeah,
Is
we
it-
we
Was I led to believe something different?
That was the end, that was the end of the fun.
That's right.
That's how you get to buy cars, buy vehicles.
There we go.
All right, good evening, council. I am Tom Mathine, the electrical superintendent. And today, the electric department seeks the council's approval to move forward with the purchase of a new 2025 crew truck. And I would like to order 2 buckets. It is the TA60 and AT37G. And the TA60 is a 60-foot bucket truck, and the AT37G is a 40-foot bucket truck. So during the 2024 budget sessions, $400,000 for the TA60 and $300,000 for the AT37G and $50,000 for the crew truck was appropriated for the purchase of these 3 pieces of equipment. The electrical department identified a AT37G, TA60 bucket truck, and a new crew truck as a capital equipment purchase. The bucket trucks will take approximately 4 years to get here, so I would like to order them now. And what we will do is just save every year until they show up so we can purchase those in the 2028-29 fiscal year, when we'll have to pay for them. And the new crew truck, I would like to purchase this fiscal year, the 2024-25 budget. The new TA60 bucket truck will be replacing a 2000 Altec bucket with 2,500 hours on it. The AT37 bucket truck would be replacing our 2012 and 1999 bucket truck. And the new crew truck will be replacing our 2008 F-150 fuel truck. To ensure that we would be able to locate these pieces of equipment within the budgeted amounts, the electric department found a Sourcewell bid for these items. This is recognized on the quote under the contract section. The bucket trucks are used in the electric department daily, year-round. They are used for working on energized lines, lights, trimming trees, helping the parks department, etc. And the new crew truck will be used for the meter department. These funds will come from the capital equipment purchase budget. That is part of the city's 5-year budget planning process. The full price of the buckets is $215,124 for the 40-foot bucket truck, and the 60-foot bucket truck is, I got a bid for $375,634, and the crew truck came in at $48,407. I guess I would submit to the city council for approval for the bid so I can order the 40-foot and 60-foot bucket truck and the crew truck. And the bids are good right now for the 40-foot bucket truck and the 60-foot. I'm afraid if we waited 4 years, if we just saved and waited 4 years, it might be $400,000 for the small truck and $600,000 for the 60-foot, because they just keep going up in price. So I would just like to have the okay to go ahead and get those on order, since they take so long to get here, and purchase the crew truck.
So, I think we all heard you correctly. 4 years from the,
Yeah, previous jobs before COVID, it would take about a year to get a truck. And now it's about 4 years to get one. And I think I heard it correctly, fire trucks are about the same way.
Our
so
fire truck was about 4 or 5 years out.
4 or 5 years.
It's like building a truck in a bottle.
Yeah.
Side business of
Yeah.
manufacturing, bucket trucks.
The side
Got a lot of
business.
sides.
You're gonna have to reach out to that E3 group, get yourself some of that LB 40 money and start this going.
Yeah.
All right, well, 4 years. And as you mentioned,
Was it the turnaround on both trucks or just?
Yes.
Both trucks are 4 years.
Both trucks are 4 years, yep. Yep, and it's the same with digger trucks too. They're about 4 years, 4 to 5. So, takes a long time. Yeah.
and as you mentioned before, this is all budgeted, you've been planning for this, and
Yes,
even
this
if it wasn't, you still got 4 years.
Yeah, I think Mike Palmer started this months ago, and I kind of just took over the middle of it, so. The manufacturers usually suggest safety-wise, change them out every 15, and we have some from 1999, so they're probably well overdue.
They're well
And they'll be even
taken
4 more years old before.
Yep.
Wait, that's a good question. Will they, what do you think their chances are of making it?
4 more years.
Yeah.
We haven't had too much for maintenance on them, major problems, so, that's been good, but knock on wood, now we'll probably have a ton of problems, so.
care. Nice job, David.
Darn it.
You jinxed it.
Yeah,
I do have one question on the bigger truck.
yeah,
On the quote. There's a line that says other All-Tech My Price Adjustment, and it's $31,000. Everything else makes sense, it's some component, this or that. It just said price adjustment plus $31,000.
plus 31? Okay. Yeah, because I know we budgeted 400 for it and it came in, I think, 25,000 lower,
Here's
so,
other, I just
yeah.
what that line was.
I can find out for you.
The other one, the smaller truck, has a All-Tech model year price adjustment, but it's a negative $6,000, so it's taking it off, so I don't.
Okay.
And Y must stand for something, is my guess.
Maybe so.
Capital.
Okay. This is my final question.
I don't know what that stands for either.
Wasn't anybody in Sydney building these?
No, these come from Kansas City.
Clarify.
No.
We're not really building for Kansas City. It's a great tenant down there.
All right, well, any more questions? All right, do we have a motion to approve the bucket and crew truck purchase? Motion by Buckner,
Second.
second by Radcliffe, roll call, please.
Sherman,
Yes.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Vondergaard,
Yes.
Stroman,
Yes.
All right, motion passes 5-0. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you guys for your time.
Wait, just gotta do one more.
Buckner.
What?
Sorry.
It's like, I'm waiting for that last one.
Had some changes. That's why we got ourselves a lawyer. Make sure it's all legal. All right. Now, Dean's gonna come up here and give us some money.
Good evening, Council. Dean Sterling, Solid Waste Superintendent. So last month, I met with you guys and spoke about one of my roll-off trucks. It's 2001, needing $40,000 worth of repair bills. After doing a little more research, the truck is only worth about $21,000 to $23,000, and so I didn't see we should spend $40,000 on repairs. So then we talked about a little bit whether we should go out for new or used. Due to our purchasing policy, we did go out for bids. We went out for bids on 10-8 and on 11-5. We did open the bids up. We received one bid from Aspen Equipment, which was Sourcewell government pricing, and it's a 2024 Mack granite hook truck at $234,215. So I guess I'm here tonight to get council, seeking the council's approval to accept this or open it up to more discussion on which way we go.
How long till we can have it?
This one is setting in Omaha. There was one thing it needs to be, it didn't meet our specs, so, I contacted them and they said they would fix it. It'd be about 30 days, but the truck is sitting in Omaha right now. And I called them today and it's still there as today, but otherwise, if we have to build one, we're probably looking a year or 2 years out. So.
Don't say I need a
So
If I'm correct, we desperately need this vehicle.
yes, we currently have 28 30-yard roll-off boxes. We service, 7, 8 different compactors, Love's, Walmart, the old Cabela's, Luke Gin, Hospital. Plus we do all of our recycling roll-offs and stuff, so yeah. And we've got a waiting list on them, so both trucks are running. I'm using it right now, but things ain't looking good for it, but, so I'm keeping both of them busy, so. This was not budgeted. This happened after budget, so it'd be a cash reserve fund.
One thing to point out though is that both this truck and the last 3 trucks, property tax dollars will not be used at all to pay for these, correct, David?
There would be no debt. He's right, they're either using equipment reserve or
Cash reserve.
cash reserve in the landfill.
Property taxes do not go to those funds.
They
No,
will not.
So it has nothing to do with property taxes.
no. The utilities are separate from,
I know that, I'm just. That out.
Saying it out loud.
Speaking out loud.
Is this on? Is this on?
So, any other questions? We got a vehicle sitting in Omaha with work to be done here.
Pay for itself. Down the long run.
Yeah, figure up the cash flow.
Yeah.
All right, do we have a motion?
I'll move.
Motion by Bondegard,
second.
second by Stroman. Roll call, please.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Mondegard,
Yes.
Stroman,
Yes.
Buckner, Sherman.
Yes. Motion passes 5-0.
Alrighty,
Call them tomorrow.
alrighty, thank you guys.
Thank you. All right. And the part we've all been waiting for, Mr. Kagan Carwin with our budget report.
Good evening, council. October numbers came in a little softer than I think we all would have anticipated. It definitely was a tough month aspect-wise, but I think we got hit with some bills that we didn't have last year at this time. That's why we're seeing the offset. We had some insurance stuff come through that wasn't paid out until actually November in 23, but took place in October of 24. So we did see that down a little bit. Kind of jumping into the general fund breakdown, the property tax was up 4.2 K to LY, or 4.2%. The majority of this is property tax, but we also did see some growth in motor vehicle sales tax as well. So that's definitely, a good sign to see that people are still out buying vehicles. The cash revenues are still there for the everyday individual to be making some expenses like that. So sales and occupation tax was down 25,000, or 10.7%. The main concern that I noticed from our sales tax report from the state was on the consumer's use tax as to how they're kind of deviated. I'm not 100% savvy with that, but that was where I saw the biggest down was on that consumer use. On the sales tax side, it stayed pretty consistent, but we were down a little bit. So it's something to watch. Nothing that I would say is overly concerning at this point, especially as we go into the winter months. But I think it's something that we definitely want to watch and make sure that we don't trend that way. If we look at Scottsbluff, Gearing, those places also had a down sales tax month as well. So just something to watch. Fees for service was up 6.2K to Elwire 20.6 positive. This is mainly coming from golf course revenue, cemetery opening, and then the bus fares. So with buses operating on Saturdays is kind of a different from last year at this time frame. And then the golf course also, having the nicer weather later into their season, them continuing to stay open when it's nice, it is definitely having a positive effect on that flood of money there. So state, federal, county, down 29.8K to last year, or 74.7%. Just a transportation reimbursement that we basically got on November 3rd. So we'll see it in November numbers as opposed to October, but nothing scary there. Franchise admin fees up 1.5K to last year, or 23.3%. The biggest win from that category is a $3,000 uptick in TV franchise fees. So definitely a good sign that I guess people are still buying TV, still utilizing that. Maybe the federal election drew some people to purchase some TV or something, but that was definitely a good trend to see. And then the other aspect is down the 2.9K to last year. That's just interest rates dropping. So, I mean, there's nothing we can do to really control that at this point. We're still getting good interest rates from where I'm seeing CDs and bank accounts sitting. But obviously, I think we'll continue to see that trend downward as we go over the next 4 to 5 years. So jumping into revenues over expenses, obviously, like I said, kind of a tough month. General fund was down 228K, but again, goes back to a lot of those insurance payouts that we offset a few months. So
There's
hopefully
also a lot of once a year payments that you gotta make at the beginning of your fiscal year.
Like I said, hopefully we see that turnaround coming into into November and into December, that we see those numbers go positive again. Street positive, 63 grand. Electric took a hit, but we know we got some big expenses there with generation projects, stuff like that. Nothing that I would say is of major concern. Water down 18, sewer up 24, and landfill up 18. So, like I said, not the greatest month to talk about, but it's all in the beginning of the fiscal year, so I think we'll start to watch the trends and see the positivity. So, any questions?
No.
You did such a great job.
Perfect. Thank you.
You bet. Hey, we have a motion to approve the budget report. So moved. Motion by Radcliffe. Second by Stroman. Roll call, please.
Bondegaard,
Yes.
Stroman,
Yes.
Buckner,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Radcliffe.
Passes 5-0, passed the budget report. And what about them claims?
They look pretty good. Had a couple questions. Lori answered most of them. And everything. Yeah, they look pretty good.
We have a motion to pass the claims. Motion by Buckner.
Strong. Second.
Second by Stroman. Roll call, please.
Stroman, Buckner, Sherman,
Yes.
Radcliffe,
Yes.
Bondegaard.
Yes.
All right, motion passes 5-0. And now to our favorite part of the night, city manager's report.
Oh, I don't know if that's it, but I do have some things tonight. First of all, I wanted to give a brief update. We did do a bid opening, a second bid opening for the repair work on the 13th Street underpass. Just a little history. We had to get the engineering done since it is going to be an insurance claim, and that took a little bit of a while to get done, and the process was a little lengthier, more lengthy than what we liked, but we did finally get the engineering done. And we put it out for bid. The first time we put it out for bid, we got 0 bids. We had made some adjustments to it and put it back out again, the main being, rather than bringing the pieces of concrete in, we would allow them to pour in place, and that did help us, and we got 2 bids for it. And so we will be bringing those to you. We just got them open today. we'll be bringing our recommendation to the council at the next meeting to move forward and get that repair work done. So I know it's been a long process, but we are finally have a company that we will be recommending to the council at the next meeting to move forward and do that work. And also, on our Rural Workforce Housing Fund, as you know, we give the low-interest loans to developers to build houses. We have 5 of them being built now, and there's a developer that has came to us. It's Integrity Construction LLC. They now have relocated up north in this Scottsbluff, Gering area from Colorado. They have been doing some work up in that area too, in Scottsbluff and in Gering, and are interested in doing some work in Sydney. So they have came to the Rural Workforce Housing Committee to see if they could work with them to get some loans to start doing some housing. And honestly, I thought they would go in Prairie Winds, much like the last people did, but they wanted to try the ranch. So they were able to negotiate a couple lots with Bass Pro. So they will be building, I think they're supposed to close on those lots November 15th, so very soon. And they're wanting to, if they can, even depending on weather, maybe even get the foundations dug. So that's exciting news that the Rural Workforce Housing Fund is working. People are seeing it, they're using it. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out. And then on November 7th, just here earlier or late last week, I met with the EMS Service Advisory Board. As you know, we have a partnership between us, Sydney Regional Medical Center, and the county to manage our EMS services, and that is going far better than I ever thought it would. Things are going well. We're now registered with all the providers. Last I heard, we were waiting for our final CMS number, which was, it may even be there now, I don't know. It probably is. They were supposed to get that within the next day or two, and then we will start sending out the billing for services that we have already provided and hopefully get some of that reimbursed. So that's moving forward quicker than we had anticipated, and we're super happy about that. I wanted to also just kind of thank all the city staff and local businesses and everybody that participated in Trunk or Treat. That thing gets bigger and bigger and bigger every year. There were 60 trunks. We used almost all of both parking lots. Last year, we left some space on the one parking lot in the back part of it, but we needed to use that this year too. And we also were able to space the trunks out a little bit more that way too to keep the traffic flowing a little better. But great event, tons of kids. The costumes were amazing, and the weather wasn't even that bad. It was supposed to be really cold, but it didn't seem that terrible. And then, quick reminder, I will be out of town on November 20th through the 22nd to attend the Nebraska City Managers Association meeting, as well as the League Executive Board meetings. City Managers won't be in Columbus, and the League Executive Board will be in Lincoln, so I'll drive up to Columbus and then drive all the way back late at night to go. But anyway, you know how this works, right, Paul? You do a lot of these late night. So anyway, I will be out of town for those 2 days, but I'll have my phone as usual and still be completely accessible with email and text and whatever else. And what's that?
Will that be on the same day as our next meeting?
No, it's Wednesday through Friday.
Our next meeting's
The 26th is the next meeting. This is next week I'll be out, and then council meeting will be in 2 weeks from then. So I'll be here for the next council meeting. And a quick reminder, this Friday, I want to make sure we still have enough council's members coming for the strategic planning session this Friday at noon. Autumn has ordered sandwiches and chips, so I know that Paul might not be able to make it, but I wanted to make sure.
See how fast I can drive.
What's that?
See how fast I can.
Unless he drives really
Faster
fast.
now.
You, I just need somebody to talk to me.
As long as it's to a meeting, I think. Didn't we talk about
no.
that?
I'm not even
Jay
getting
would
it.
like that, make that perfectly clear. She had no discussion with Fred Sherman about any speeding whatsoever.
Interim police chief is in the room, so. So just wanted to remind you guys, do we still know that we'll have?
Yes.
I'll still be here.
Okay, perfect. So we're good. All right, that's Friday at noon, so.
We are looking forward to strategically planning.
There are some things that are changing, so with houses going into the ranch and things like that we need to talk about, so. That's all I have.
All right. Kelly? All right, fine.
Not a word.
Nothing? Amanda, you got a lot of things to tell us. Go ahead.
Do I?
Yes.
Well, I always do, but, and we are coming up on that time of year where the library will be having our annual holiday open house. And if you haven't been in the library lately, we have made a lot of nice changes, including some really, really nice paint jobs. Couple of the staff at the library are super into decorating, and they're good at it, unlike me. So I let them take over that. So things are color coordinated and hanging on the walls straight and all that kind of stuff. So, but we have some fancy new technology, and we'll be featuring that and having some demonstrations available. And we just would really like to invite. We always, of course, have lots of goodies and things to eat. So that'll be coming up. We don't have a date for that yet. So, but next meeting I will have that official information. I just want to throw it out there that that's coming up, and we always like to see a lot of people stop by.
Marshall? Kagan? Tell us. Let me guess. 37.
That's way too high.
More like 7.
I will never stop being optimistic. You can't beat it out of me, I promise.
You were close, 26.
Wow.
Eh?
Last week was 77.
Well, that's in total, but that wasn't live.
So there's still 26 in there hanging on?
No, there's 11.
Thank you, all 11 for hanging in there.
When was the drop off? Do you? Just out of curiosity.
Right after the budget report, they're like, that's it, we're done.
Yeah, that was the most important part, no. Yeah, it doesn't really show it that way. It's just yeah.
That would be.
I don't know if we want to know
Not
that.
throwing anything under the bus.
I would say the drop off would be from 5:50 to 6 o'clock, and you lost a viewer.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
there's a positive side.
They all know the longer they stay on, the more chance they're going to have to listen to me. So.
True. Where's your cell phone number?
Oh, 249-2321. If you Dean?
Nope.
Nothing? Sam?
For us, we're doing trainings at North Elementary. Luckily, the school's been very cooperative. The school district's been awesome to let us use North for trainings. It's been kind of cool to getting everybody from Kimball, Sheriff's Office, State Patrol, us. Hopefully, we'll be incorporating some EMS and fire guys here this next round. But we have finished our first session. We have 2 more to go through that. And then, the police and the fire department are participating in the Make-A-Wish Pie in the Face competition at Alta.
Ooh.
So loser gets a pie shoved in his face, so I'm kind of hoping I lose. But yeah, it's good charity for everybody, so.
Is that how do they decide who gets the pie?
Well, I think right now it's down, either I get the pie in the face or Matt gets the pie in the face, and whoever gets the most money gets to shove the pie in the other person's face.
Right, but where are they collecting the money at?
It's at Alta, as you check out through the gas station.
Make sure.
Is that the only place?
As far as I know, it's the only place. So,
And how long can we vote with our money?
I think it's for the whole month.
Oh, plenty of time. All right.
It's hard to beat fire on popularity. I can't do it, but I'll try my hardest.
Yeah, they have those big fancy white truck or red trucks, and we just bought them another one, so
It's hard to compete.
yeah. Oh, we're rooting for you.
I'll have to let him use my taser, I think.
That would make it more exciting.
No.
Once again, the voice of reason shuts us down from having some serious fun. All right.
Instead of pie in the face, who gets tased?
Tom, what kind of fun you gonna have over there?
The solar field, I talked to Kyle over there, and they're 50% of the way done now. They're plucking along pretty good. And the generation plant, there was a couple guys here yesterday. They're working on the mechanical side of things. They're getting the mufflers installed. And slowly but surely, they're going to get it done sometime. So, for some odd reason, we've had a couple light poles get hit. So if you see those, we're getting those put back up as they get hit, though. So it's kind of strange month for light poles. I don't know why. But
Seems like something you wouldn't want to do. Oh, people are hitting a lot of stuff around town. We need to have something about that driver education class or something. We need to, maybe we can get some of that LB 840 money over there and get some more people trained.
That's about it on electric.
All right. Brandon?
I want to say congratulations to Burke and Brad on the elections, and Brock. That's it.
I was gonna say good luck to the Sydney Raiders this Friday in their semifinal football game here.
5 p.m.
5 p.m. If they win that game, they will be playing in Memorial Stadium on our next council meeting. So some of us might not be here.
Oh, that's true. And
We may have to move our
I will lose 6 employees on that day.
So anyway, good luck to them. Hopefully
Oh, yeah.
continue to do well.
Paul? Right? He's going to leave it all up to me. All right. Well, unfortunately, the city of Sydney and the state of Nebraska, city of Omaha, lost a great person, John Gottschalk, passed away November 3rd at his home. He was the publisher of the Omaha World Herald. And I'll just read just a little bit out of the article that was written about him. Joined the World Herald in 1975, became a publisher, CEO in 1989, retired as chairman in 2008. His civic life included such varied positions as chairman of the USO Board of Governors, president of the Boy Scouts of America, and chairman of the Omaha Performing Arts. He was known for his energy. I don't see any sense in sitting around wailing and moaning about the terrible conditions of mankind, Gottschalk once said. Get off your chair and do something about it. People are tremendously powerful. You can have an impact. He grew up in Rushville with a boyhood friend, Chuck Hagel, future U.S. Senator in Nebraska, of Nebraska, and later a U.S. Secretary of Defense. They served on the board of the USO together, assisted military families, and remained friends. John lived a meaningful, purposeful life, Hagel said, and was authentic, positive, smart, and encouraging, and was always honest and clear. Through their elected years, Democrat Kerry and Republican Hagel, Gottschalk never asked for a political favor, but always spoke directly. I always could count on John to tell me the truth. He had a set of core values. He lived his life with them. He was just a remarkable human being. At 25, Gottschalk bought the Sydney Sun-Telegraph and was mayor of Sydney from 72 to 74. So being the mayor and the newspaper editor brought some interesting situations. Gottschalk could have built a plant in the suburbs for his Omaha World Herald, but with the agreement of the newspaper's board, he chose a site downtown, just as Bruce Lawrenson of First National Bank built a new office tower nearby in West Omaha. They were both catalysts, McCarthy said, for the preservation of downtown. Gottschalk served as longtime chairman of the Omaha Performing Arts and helped plan and raise about $100 million for renovation in the Orpheum Theater, and especially for the construction of the Performing Arts Center. He led donations from Richard and Mary Holland and opened in 2005. In 2020, he published his autobiography titled Confluence, John Gottschalk's Life and Duty, Service, and the Business of News. Among other board memberships were the Joslyn Art Museum, Henry Dorley Zoo, Aquarium, Creighton University, Peter Kiewit Institute, the Omaha Symphony, Nebraska Game and Parks Foundation, the Nebraska Benevolent Association, Pheasants Forever, and Heritage Services. In 2012, he served 8 months as the interim president of the University of Nebraska Foundation. An inductee into the Business Hall of Fame and Nebraska Press Association Hall of Fame, Gottschalk was recognized in 1994 as a civic leadership philanthropy by being named as the 98th King of Exarban. He also served corporate boards, including Cabela's, Pacific Life, McCarthy Group, and Election Services Systems Software. So clearly very involved, very intelligent man, did a lot for his community, and very much supported people working together. So to our condolences from the city of Sydney to him and his family. But he will definitely be missed. And it also brings me to a quote I heard this week about from George Bernard Shaw, a playwright who is always known for his political wit. There is a true joy in life to be used by a purpose recognized by yourself as mighty one, to be thoroughly worn out before being thrown onto the scrap heap, to be a force of nature instead of a feverish, selfish little clod of ailments and grievances complaining that life will not devote you anything except for making you happy. So with that, all the things that we do in this city, the city does, the people of the city do to bring us together and just make this the best place it is. I had the opportunity to speak at the DOE's convention. The American Legion did a oratorical competition, and the people were here in support of that, and the country, it was amazing. And then we have people like Amanda, or as we like to call her, Miss Peacock, involved in a play. That's why we haven't seen her for very much. That was a fantastic play. Great cast of people. I didn't bring with me, but I did get an autograph of every single one of them. I went to 2 of the shows, and it was fantastic every single time. As Paul said, in this meeting, in an hour, could have been out of here in an hour if I knew how to shut up, but we saw a new business opening, some new housing, $1.2 million of grant money. We fortified our electrical and landfill departments, and David talked about more housing on top of that and bolstering our ambulance services. So, clearly a lot of positivity in a short little session of what's going on here. I've had lots of conversations from the citizens of Sidney this week offering our support. And if you want to be one of those, just call me at 249-2321 and let me know what we can do for you. We've had a busy last few weeks, and we are going to finish it out with burgers and Reubens at the Elks tomorrow night. Thursday, there's going to be a parade through town that will end in a bonfire in celebration of the Raiders game on Friday, which starts at 5 p.m. But before that, there's going to be a strategic planning meeting in this very room right here at noon. And of all the things that are going on in the next 5 days, do not miss that. And then on Saturday, there is a Rocky Mountain Oyster Fry at the Elks. And I think it's probably enough for one night, don't you think? All right. We will adjourn this meeting at 6:32. Thank you for coming.